Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a massive, seismic shift in military strategy, one that could totally redefine who holds power on the world stage. We're talking about a showdown between giant, perfect weapons and a swarm of tiny, smart ones. Let's get right into it.
So, let's start with this. This is the F-22 Raptor, and it is the absolute pinnacle of air power. It's not just a jet, it's an exquisite, incredible machine engineered for one single purpose: total and complete air dominance. It's unbelievably fast, it's practically invisible to radar, it's just crammed with the most advanced tech you can possibly imagine.
But, perfection like this, it doesn't come cheap, not even close. Each one of these technological marvels costs a staggering $400 million just to build. And that's not even counting the astronomical cost just to fly and maintain the thing.
Now, the original plan? It was really ambitious. The U.S. Air Force wanted a whole fleet of these things, 750 of these ultimate fighters. A force so powerful, it could pretty much guarantee air superiority anywhere on the globe, no questions asked.
But that incredible price tag, well, it had consequences. In the end, only 187 were ever actually built. And that huge gap, you see, between the plan and the reality, that reveals a really fundamental problem with this whole philosophy of building perfect but impossibly expensive weapons.
Okay, so let's really dive into this, because this isn't just about one airplane. Nope. This is a pattern that's been building for decades. It's a whole philosophy of chasing fewer but ever more complex and expensive weapons.
For decades, the entire strategy has been to build the most advanced weapon on the planet. But as the costs just keep going up and up, we can only afford a handful of them. Look at the Zumwalt destroyer program. It was slashed from 32 ships down to just 3. Or the Littoral Combat Ship from 55 down to 32. You see the pattern, right? We're getting fewer and fewer weapons for more and more money.
So, while we've been laser-focused on perfecting these Goliaths, a totally different kind of threat has been quietly emerging. And it's not coming from some state-of-the-art defense lab, it's coming from the commercial world.
What we're seeing is this fundamental shift away from the few and complex and toward the many and simple. Instead of these massive state-funded projects that take decades to develop, we're now seeing commercially driven tech that evolves in a matter of months. And the key difference? It is shockingly, unbelievably cheap.
And look, this isn't just a theory. Way back in 2003, a single hobbyist proved that cheap, autonomous systems could go the distance. He built 23 super simple drones, knowing that most of them would probably fail. He only needed one to succeed, and one did, flying completely on its own all the way from Newfoundland to Ireland.
This brings us right to the core of this new era of warfare, which you can really boil down to 3 simple words: small, many, and smart.
First up, small. And this doesn't just mean little quadcopters. We are talking about platforms that can travel huge distances while being practically invisible. I mean, think about an underwater glider that crossed the entire Atlantic Ocean without refueling, all while producing almost zero detectable heat or radar signature. Good luck fighting that.
Second, many. So how do you get to many? Well, it all comes down to cost. And the big driver here is additive manufacturing, what we all call 3D printing. When researchers can prototype a printed drone for about the cost of a few pizzas, well, suddenly, you can afford to build a whole army of them.
And this isn't just for some hobby projects either. The major defense contractors, they are all in on this. A vice president at Lockheed Martin actually predicted that they'll be printing satellites in the near future, and that could cut costs by something like 40%.
And finally, smart. The brains of these systems, they're powered by cheap, commercially available, off-the-shelf tech. The very same autopilot technology that lets a farmer's drone survey a field for a few $100 can be used to guide a weapon to a target with pinpoint accuracy.
So, all of this leads to a pretty staggering economic trade-off. It's a choice between 2 completely different philosophies of what power even looks like.
Just consider this for a second. For the estimated $2 billion cost of a single new stealth bomber, you could instead buy over 6,000 smart long-range cruise missiles. So that's the choice: one perfect, exquisite platform or 6,000 individual threats.
And that same choice exists underwater. For the price of just one nuclear-powered Virginia-class submarine, a country could buy over 17,000 autonomous underwater drones, and every single one of those could become a long-range torpedo or a smart mine waiting in a harbor.
This isn't the first time technology has forced such a dramatic choice, and if you look back, history offers a really powerful and kind of cautionary tale.
Between the world wars, the world's navies bet everything they had on bigger, better battleships. That was the exquisite weapon of their time. The aircraft carrier, meanwhile, was seen as this quirky side experiment. We all know now what a massive mistake that was. They were investing in the past, right at the exact moment the future was about to arrive.
So what does all this mean for the future battlefield? Well, it's going to look and feel very, very different from anything we have ever seen before.
So you can forget about one-on-one dogfights. The future is about completely overwhelming an enemy with thousands of cheap, smart attackers all at once. I mean, imagine swarms of drones in the air, autonomous torpedoes in the sea, and smart mines on land, all being guided by commercial satellites. And the scariest part? The attacker might not even be a country, just a group with access to off-the-shelf tech.
And here's the real irony. It's something called the innovator's dilemma. Adversaries with less advanced militaries might actually be the first ones to master swarm warfare. So why is that? Because their job is way simpler. They don't have to worry about complicated rules of engagement. They can just program a swarm to attack any tank or any aircraft it finds.
So what's the big takeaway here? Look, the argument isn't to just stop building fighters and carriers tomorrow. It's to recognize that the game is changing, and fast. The US and its allies, they have to start investing seriously in this new world of the small, many, and smart, to augment their exquisite forces and really to hedge their bets before it's too late.
And this all leaves us with a critical, final question for the future of warfare. What's actually more powerful? Having perfection in one single place, or having a presence everywhere? The answer to that question will likely decide who holds the advantage for the next 100 years.